what you need to be conscious of is communication that you have with individuals needs to be tailored to that personality type. Okay, so if we use the DISC methodology, okay, because it's complex enough that there is real value in it, but it's simple enough so that somebody can understand the basics of it, pick it up and use it in a live operation and actually be more effective very, very quickly. We used to use Myers-Briggs, but I found that it was a bit too complex for people to grasp quite easily and use, and so we moved across to the DISC methodology. Now, without going into it in too much detail, there are multiple personality types within this, and they all interpret information differently, they all see and view the world differently, they have different goals, different behaviours that they would exhibit, and different motivations. Now, very simply, if you're dealing with someone who is of the D personality type, for example, D for dominance within this, that person values results, action, challenge, okay? Now, if we think about a lot of people in leadership positions, we know, management positions, we know, we probably could identify people with those behaviours. What's really interesting is people of those behaviours, typically the way they like to consume information is it needs to be short and useful. So you'll think about when you write emails to somebody with that personality style, bullet points are really, really useful, and they don't necessarily want too much detail. And the reason this is so important is if you're dealing with a service delivery manager, someone in leadership, your CIO, who is of the D for dominance personality style, in most interactions, they probably don't want loads of low-level detail. Now, if you are of a personality type that sits within the C for conscientiousness, or S for steadiness, you're probably quite analytical, you're probably quite detail-focused, and so you might be doing the absolute right thing when you convey information to them. Let's say you're on a phone call with them, and you might actually have a really good handle on everything, but what you're doing is giving them too much detail. Now, somebody with that personality, what often happens is the service delivery manager will think, because you are giving them so much information and so much detail, they will think that you're potentially not confident in what you are telling them, and they'll feel like you're oversharing. And it's interesting because your intent is right, and actually your behaviour and knowledge could have been absolutely perfect, but their interpretation of that is different. And the ownership's on you as major incident managers. Everything's our fault, okay? This is the mentality I want us to have, and I'll go into detail on the extreme ownership mindset on another episode. But just because your intent is right and your behaviour so far has been right, it's your fault for not trying to understand their personality type and tailoring the message and communication style to that person and that individual and the way they communicate and the way they interpret information. Okay, so there's loads and loads of levels of this, so we're just kind of touching the surface. But I want you to think about that and really look at people and go, well, is this someone who needs loads of detail to feel comfortable and confident? Or is this someone actually who I'm going to completely turn off and they're not going to be listening to everything I give them, so much so that they feel perhaps I'm not as confident? This person just needs short, sharp, actionable information, and they typically don't want loads of detail. So, or the conversely, the opposite could be happening. Yeah, so you could have someone who does require loads and loads of detail. Often technical people are like this. It's partly why they're so good at what they do, very, very detail focused, which you need to be. But maybe you're somebody who is used to just giving very small snippets of information, and for that person to feel comfortable, for that service delivery manager to feel comfortable, they actually need lots of information.